Philadelphia Eagles have won Super Bowl 59.
We're not the defending
Be a problem for Philly's defense tonight?
I think it can. I think there's two specific ways it has to.
Tell me.
I've said, number one, there's a little bit of unknown about Dallas's offense. Okay, Brian Schottenheimer is the new head coach. He's calling the plays. He hasn't done it in 5 years. So if you're the Eagles defense, you're like, I don't really know who they're going to be. All offseason, we've heard Schottenheimer say, like, we want to modernize the offense. So there wants to be more motions, more condensed formations, more shifts, different personnel groupings. So if you're Philly, you're kind of guessing of what that's going to look like. So I think if Dallas does that and uses no-huddle tempo, forces communication by the Eagles defense with some new pieces in their secondary at home with the crowd noise loud, that could be advantage Dallas. I'd also say this, and maybe I'm in a smaller group of this, I think George Pickens is still ridiculously talented. I think he's one of the most talented, physically talented receivers in the NFL. He would get 12-plus targets for me tonight. Darius Slay's no longer in Philly. Darius Slay's going to be a potential Hall of Famer. And Adoree Jackson, who should be opposite Quinyon Mitchell, their second-year corner. Adoree's played in the NFL a long time, good player, but he's not Slay. And so I think if Dallas can use some tempo, hit some shots down the field, and let George be a huge impact in this game, yeah, I think they can give Philadelphia the Eagles defense some problems, especially early on.
I agree with you, believe it or not, at least for the first three quarters. I would tell you this. I think, like I said earlier, I think the Eagles going to run away with it late. I think Dak Prescott's going to throw about 2 interceptions, but that doesn't mean numbers-wise he's not going to have a big enough game, certainly with a CeeDee Lamb and a George Pickens as a target. And let's not get Ferguson as well at the tight end spot.
Yeah.
I get all of that, right? My thing is this. If you are the Philadelphia Eagles defense, you want to get to Dak. Dak hasn't been running with the football over the last few years, not nearly as much as he ran earlier on in his career.
Sure.
And some believe that has been an impediment to the kind of success that he's capable of enjoying. That's number one. Number two, how stout is Dallas's offensive line? We don't know about that yet, okay? That's number two. Number three, if you're the Philadelphia Eagles offense, I'm testing Trayvon Diggs. I mean, obviously, he had an injury. He's coming back from it, what have you. If he's expected to be out there or whatever, I'm testing that, okay? I'm testing that. I'm not trying to test Bland. I'm not trying to test him too much. I'm just saying, you're the Philadelphia Eagles. You've got Devontae. You've got A.J. Brown. You've got Saquon Barkley. Press, press, press. Put the pedal to the metal. Put Dallas on his heels. Force Dak Prescott to try and beat you, because I think that's how the mistakes are going to happen. I think that's what the Eagles are going to do.
I'm going to be honest, man. It is like a very trendy thing to do, to doubt Dak Prescott. This ain't the year. I truly believe Dak Prescott is going to have one of those years where his name starts to be talked about in the top 5, the top 10 again. The last time Dak Prescott was healthy for an entire season, he was second in MVP voting.
You're right.
They're going to be a problem tonight. I love the fact that Dan pointed out we haven't seen what a Brian Schottenheimer game plan looks like executed from the mind of Schotty. We also haven't seen what do you do when you double CeeDee Lamb and now George Pickens is one-on-one on the outside. And I don't care what anybody in the world thinks. When we're talking one-on-one matchups, 50-50 footballs, there's no one better in the world than George Pickens. Now, there's some who are the same, right? You're going to say people like Jamar Chase, you're going to say people like Justin Jefferson, DK Metcalf are the same, but they ain't nobody in the world that's better. Problem is, he's never had a quarterback as good as Dak Prescott.
Good point.
He's never played in a room with someone like CeeDee Lamb who can attract some attention. So it's really going to be on the law firm of Sanders, Williams, and Blue. Can we get a run game? Because if they could get a run game and get into play action pass, it's going to be trouble. We also have to remember Jahad Campbell is going to make his first start, who I think is going to be an absolute terror at the linebacker position. But it's going to be big for him tonight. Then you got to think about the outside, Adoree Jackson. So where does Quinyon Mitchell go?
Yeah.
And then off of that, Jake Ferguson is a dude.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be an adjustment for Vic Fangio in this defense of the Eagles very early against Dak Prescott.
Okay, but let me ask a question because, like I said, I defer to y'all. I get it. But let me ask y'all a question, both of you two here.
Yes, sir.
Now, do you make anything out of the fact that you just both said that Brian Schottenheimer is going to be calling plays, obviously, for the first time in 5 years? Why the hell he ain't calling in the last 5 years?
Because he's been with Mike McCarthy.
Is that the only reason? Is that the only reason? Or is it because it didn't enamor anybody? See, we got to ask these kind of questions now. See, this week, and I don't like y'all look at me like that, but I get it from y'all. Because you see, this is the kind of question that Ryan Clark and Dan Orlovsky would bring up. Why you ain't called plays for the last 5 years?
Well,
Maybe you wasn't that
Actually,
dude.
we wouldn't bring up the question because we're here. You can't speak for us like we're not sitting here.
I'm just saying. The point is, I know y'all the way that I know y'all. If somebody went 5 years without calling plays, y'all would pick on up. Y'all would pick up on that. Y'all would go like this. Maybe he ain't that dude. Maybe he ain't the dude to be calling those plays. That's number one. Okay? That's number one. Let's go out the way. Number two, with the running game, Javonte Williams. He comes over from Denver. I know the brother could play. I ain't hating on him.
Yeah.
But you didn't want to play Rico Dowdle $6 million. He had to go to Carolina and get one.
I swear, you make comments just to say certain names.
No, y'all just said names.
He does like Rico Dowdle.
It's going to be 2032. Rico Dowdle.
It's true. Rico Dowdle. You understand?
Rico's a great name.
Here's my point. Yeah, ain't mad at Rico Suave.
It definitely sounds like something you charge somebody with.
How about that? How about that? Damn right. So here's my point to y'all. You got a cat that you got for 1 year, $3 million. How good is he? What's the possibility of the Dallas having that running game so Dak can get in the play action? See, this is what I'm thinking about. And I'm thinking about you ain't going to be able to do that. And if you ain't going to be able to do that, he going to have to pass. And if he going to have to pass, he going to get his numbers because he'll pick you apart for the most part until that moment arrives.
Jimmy's Christmas.
Until that moment arrives.
But so that's the thing, right?
Moment arrives, bow, they come crashing down. That's what I
So has Dak
anticipate.
Prescott progressed past that, right? Because if you remember 2 years ago, when he was second in MVP voting, it was the atrocious outing against the 49ers.
In the
Right,
playoffs.
in the regular season. I'm saying in the regular season.
Right, in San Francisco.
It was in San Francisco. Then the next week, I believe they were at the Chargers.
Okay.
Right, and they end up winning late.
Yep.
Dak throws a good ball for a touchdown, and now he goes on this run until you get to the playoffs against Green Bay, and then we all know it fell apart. Has Dak Prescott progressed past that as far as it pertains to the regular season, I think is what's important.
Yeah, I don't think a lot of people care about what Dak Prescott does in a positive way during the regular season. I think it's fair to say when Dak's healthy and he starts, this team scores 28 a game and they win 11 or 12 games.
Yeah.
Very, good to very good quarterback. It's the playoff shortcomings that are the conversation of Dak Prescott. I've often said for a couple of years, RC, he's played himself into that group. It's not in the Lamar group and it's not into the Josh group when it comes to that stuff.
No
it's that same world.
Yeah.
But Dak is there. Listen, I agree. I think this offense is going to be a really good offense. I really do. I think the backs are fine because this offensive line has got 3 first-round picks in it. So
They're better block.
Yeah, a lot of backs should have success. To answer your shoddy question, I think part of it is because he was in Dallas with Mike McCarthy, who calls his own plays, and I believe before Dallas he was in Jacksonville with Doug Peterson, who calls his own plays. So I think Brian Schottenheimer is more than capable of being a good offensive play caller.
Yeah, and also it's also the difficulty though of thinking about a guy like Mike McCarthy who was out of football,
Right.
And then he comes back and he calls plays. Or you could think of someone like Matt LaFleur, who was actually the offense coordinator in Los Angeles, but he doesn't call plays until he's with the Tennessee Titans, and then he's working with Aaron Rodgers running his stuff. And then we watch him last year, and there's a creative explosion because of what he could do because of the freedom. And so it's not necessarily for me, Stephen A., that Brian Schottenheimer has to be this great play caller. It's that they're not going to know what sort of play caller he is with the Dallas Cowboys roster.
And the other thing I'll hit you with is this. George Pickens is playing for money.
There's no question.
People act right for money now.
That's right.
George Pickens is playing in a contract
I'm glad
year.
you brought up money because us at First Take, we want to get people paid, right, with ESPN Bet, and that's what we should do right now.
Segue.
We've got our Cover 3